Good morning, and thank you for joining us for another episode of the 359 podcast. This is episode 97 on Wednesday, August, help me, 17th. And this morning we're joined by Roger Cheng and Ken Jermaine. Guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thanks for having us. Happy Wednesday, everyone. First off, I want to give a shout out to my wife. It's our wedding anniversary.
And you're here?
And I'm here. I'll be home early. I'm going to go home early-ish. And
happy anniversary.
Thank you. Third year
years?
anniversary.
3 years.
3 years, yeah. We got a kid in the burbs now. It's real, man.
I know. It's official.
Well, I don't even know if she listens to this anymore, but if she does, babe, love you. It's been a great 3 years. She's not gonna hear this. It's fine. All right, so we've got an action-packed Intel-centric show for you guys. Intel Developer Forum kicked off yesterday. We're going to talk about some of the biggest announcements there, including the possible death of the audio jack. Now, not just due to Apple, but also Intel with the USB Type-C port. We'll be talking about Project Alloy, the virtual reality headset with no wires that Intel showed off, which unfortunately is just a prototype, but is sort of a cool glimpse of what we can see for the future with VR. And if we have time, I'm not sure we're going to have time, we'll talk about Intel's prototype smart glasses and the tiny new computer called Joule. It's about the size of 2 dimes put placed side by side. And it's enough to run 4K video, audio, Wi-Fi, it's a full-fledged chip. So kind of crazy. All right, whenever you're ready, Brian. Oh, just as always, if you have any questions about any of these topics, or Apple or Samsung, because we know you always have questions about them, leave them in the comment section. Our producer, Brian, will pick out the best questions, and we will do our best to answer them.
All right, we'll be back at you in exactly 3 minutes and 59 seconds, starting in 3, 2...
Wow. That was a good start.
Sorry.
That's 3 days in a row.
I know. No, I got it right yesterday. The other 2 days I screwed up, but yes.
Okay.
Let me just move this out of the way.
Yeah.
Send us your questions. We're recording the podcast. We'll be back to speak with you in just a couple minutes. And Roger, are you ready this time?
Hands free.
All the hazards gone?
Yes.
All right, in 3, 2...
Welcome to the 359, where we talk about the top tech news of the day and all the other crap you want to throw in. I'm Roger Cheng, and with me is the legendary Kent German.
Hi, Roger. Nice to be here.
Great to have you.
Thank you.
Hails all the way from the UK.
Yes.
So we're honored to have you here in New York. So Intel kicked off its developer forum yesterday, and we got a lot of interesting tidbits from the event. The most important is the revelation that Intel believes that the USB Type-C port could eventually replace or kill off the traditional audio jack. Now, there are already rumors out there that Apple is going to do the same thing with the Lightning port. If now Intel is kind of backing it from the other side, I mean, should we start investing in new headphones, or is this it?
I think it might be, actually. Yeah, it seems, I still go to hotels years later after we killed off the 10-point thing in the iPhone. I still see those jacks, you still walk up and you're like, who uses this now? Because no one has this.
The large 30-pin.
Yeah,
right?
I think I only been to one hotel that actually had the new Lightning connector in the thing, the dock or whatever.
Yes, the home audio dock. Yeah.
Yeah, so that Apple did that and they just went right ahead, and then a lot of people had to change. So I think that we are seeing, I think we will have to invest in new headphones. Actually, it seems like that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like once again Apple is going to lead the charge with this. I mean, Samsung just a few weeks ago kind of made some cracks about how their Galaxy Note 7 still has an audio jack, but if what Intel is saying is to be believed, phones might be able to. Other phones are going to do the exact same thing.
Yeah, I mean, they'll probably get there.
Right.
I guess my one thing that I kind of fear about this is, so does that mean that you can't charge the phone and listen to music at the same time?
I think that's what it means, yeah.
But
unless I guess you get like a...
not excited about that.
Brian's face, his jaw just dropped about saying that. But yeah, I mean, I think it's one port. You've only got one port. Either it's audio or it's power. You can't have both.
I guess unless you got a wireless charging, then you can do that. But
True.
But
if you have wireless charging, or I guess if you've got sort of a double port, right, for USB Type-C or Lightning. But yeah, I mean, with both Apple and Intel, that's covering pretty much the entire ecosystem. So, well, by the way, just in case you guys are all up in arms about that, Intel says the advantages are, of course, the thinner design.
Yeah.
Removing the audio jack allows for a thinner phone. Also, the possibility for digital sound processing, which means that tech companies don't actually have to go to Bose or Dolby to get all those nifty audio tricks. All right, next up. Intel also showed off Project Alloy. It's a VR headset without pesky wires. It uses the RealSense cameras to allow your actual hands to appear in the virtual world. Did you get a chance to check out the headset or take a look at the coverage?
Yeah, I did. And it's a totally interesting idea because every time we host an event where we have a VR headset, like we have the HTC, the Vive or something, it's funny to see people and they kind of wander to the edge and suddenly they get yanked back a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's
I've
like
definitely
when
had that.
You used to have a corded phone at home, and you try to reach across to like grab something and someone's like, ah. So yeah, I think that'd be cool. I still get a little motion sickness with VR, so I gotta admit, so I'm not totally into it. But I think that for the technology, if you could just sort of wander across the room and be completely away from a computer or something, that'd be really cool.
And the problem with a lot of the stuff that Intel shows off is a lot of it's they're just reference designs. They don't actually make any products. They didn't really make the chips that power these products. And this reference design won't actually show up to its partners until the second half of 2017.
Yeah. So it's a long way off.
It's definitely a long way off. Lastly, I just wanted to chat about the smart glasses that Intel showed off, powered by a new computer called Joule, which is about the size of 2 dimes side by side. I mean, does that excite you, or is this Google Glass all over again?
It sounds like it, but I think this is another thing. Like you said, they're just making the stuff that goes in the product. So what is this actually going to do for a consumer? And I mean, we're so far from that it's hard to say. And
if anything, I mean, these computers can go into more IoT devices in the future. All right, so for all of our coverage from IDF, check us out on CNET. I'm Roger Chang.
And Ken Sherman.
Thanks for listening. All right.
That was a good discussion. It's going to be the golden age of dongles.
I know, right?
That's devastating to me because I for one, I have a real hard time sleeping. So the way I kind of live my life is I wind down for a good hour or so each night.
Headphones.
Mm-hmm. And I'll put on headphones and I'll put my phone on charge next to me. And I've got sleep phones, which are essentially like a sleep mask.
Right.
With like flexible headphones built in, and I'll
really,
sit
it's
there
all attached, like one thing.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Oh, I've never heard of that before.
Actually, that does sound pretty pleasant.
I can't sleep without them anymore, even if there's no sound pumping through them. They're just kind of comfortable. But yeah, I'll put on like nature sounds in there, and if I'm strap hangled, then I'm either gonna have one of two things: insomnia or a dead phone.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the thing. We're gonna be this is just gonna be dongle mania, right?
Oh.
They're just gonna be extra ports. They're gonna, if Apple does include wireless charging in their phones, that would solve a lot of the problems. But
yeah, but then of course you got to buy the pad and so forth. And
true.
Yeah. We've got some good discussion going in the chat already.
All right.
Jay Mations wants to know, from your experience, what actually sounds better? Is there actually a benefit from the Lightning audio to the old 35 millimeter?
Well, I mean, we don't really know what the Lightning
3.5 millimeter. Sorry.
The story said, I think that there could be some advantages, and I forget what exactly it said.
Yeah.
But,
so the key advantages are sort of allowing companies to do more employ more software for audio processing.
Yeah. So
doing things like simulating the sounds as if you were in a big concert hall, or canceling out jet engines or rumbling trains.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm.
So these are the kinds of features that you might be able to get if you work with a Dolby or a Bose, but with USB Type-C and theoretically with Lightning, you'll be able to do more of the software stuff. So like Apple or Samsung could actually employ more audio tricks without the help of other third-party services.
But I think the flip side is, and I'm sure if Apple's going to do this, they figured this out, would a USB-C headset have more power consumption? And, would that affect the battery? And
that is an excellent point. I don't know about the Lightning one, but in terms of the USB... But USB, apparently they're going to introduce new technology that allows for shut-off of non-vital parts of the phone or parts of the device. So they argue that the switch from USB to 3.55 or 3.55 to USB is negligible in terms of power difference. So, which is surprising because you'd think like a powered headphone that would draw more energy.
A lot of people seem to have a lot of loyalty towards the old audio jack. It's funny. Some people would say, I'd rather not the phone get thinner. I'd rather not this feature. Yeah. I want to keep my headphone
I've
jack.
been on the bandwagon for a while now. Like, I don't care about the phone being thinner. I just want it to like last longer and do more practical things, like be waterproof. Like, I think we're thin enough at this point. And the novelty of it being a little bit thinner, a hair thinner, just isn't worth it for me.
I don't think they're actually going to compensate that with any better resiliency either. That's just going to make it weaker.
Yeah, and I've got a collection of headphones, and I don't want to throw them all away.
My loyalty to my headphones, I've been listening to Sennheisers and Koss as a consumer for 20 years. I've had an iPhone for less than 10. Where's my loyalty lie?
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've actually talked about this on the show before. Are the headphone manufacturers going to fall in line and start producing USB-C Lightning headphone models? Or are they just going to depend on like third-party developers to make dongles to compensate?
Yeah. And then that's something else that you have to, you could lose, something you have to carry around.
Yeah.
And it just seems like it's another bridge between two things that could cause interference or, just whatever. So
I mean, especially with Apple, I imagine the headset makers are going to line up and produce compatible phones. Like there's no other single product that draws the kind of demand for accessories than the iPhone, right?
Do you remember how much the dongle was between the 10-pin connector and Lightning? Was it like $39.99 or something?
Escapes my I was just looking that up, but then my computer lost connection, but connectivity. But yeah, it was kind of a outrageous price.
Yeah.
There was a lot of ranting. There was a lot of anger over that move to Lightning, but then it just happened and everyone got over it after a while, right?
Yeah.
So, like as you said, like Apple just sort of moves, doesn't really care about what you think, and then
because they know you're going to just get on board.
That's true.
Eventually, so.
To Jay Mations in the chat, I think watching the chat really answers your question if people will be mad or glad whether the headphone jack is going away. It looks like collectively, by and large, like most everyone here is kind of ticked.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm disappointed. I don't want to see that happen.
I imagine there's going to be a lot of anger come September when Apple releases its new iPhone. But like we just said, like I think the anger is going to subside. People are just going to get over it eventually.
Yeah, I mean, just the headphones are, of course, very, depending on what you have, are very expensive things unless you're using just the thing that comes in the box. But suddenly
I've got
your Bose, fancy headphones. Then
I've got a pair of fancy Bose noise canceling headphones I always wear on the plane, and just I'm not relishing the idea of like carrying a little dongle to like plug it in. So.
Yeah, Bluetooth. There's the next discussion is about if there is going to be a headphone cable at all going forward. But according to so many of our reviews, Bluetooth audio doesn't hold suit.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, I'm always kind of worried that it's gonna conk out when I need it the most. Like,
Truth.
That's the biggest objection I have.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think since you typically have your device close to you when you have headphones on, I'm not really attached to Bluetooth audio in that sense. Like, I don't think it's saving me that much convenience, in other words.
Right.
Like, if I'm using it to sort of, make a connection, like pass data back and forth, sure, great. But if I'm using it for something else.
But it does fall in line with Apple's philosophy of getting rid of wires, getting rid of cables.
And I mean, I'm a sound guy at heart, and I hate cables. I hate them so much, but it's a necessary evil.
Yeah.
And, if you are a true audiophile, you're not going to sacrifice your high-quality headphones with the decent cables for some crappy Bluetooth.
Yeah.
You're just not.
No, it's and I'm not even an audiophile, but I sort of feel the same way. Any more questions?
The same loyalty. It's just fun to watch people being like, "Screw this! This is a dumb idea.
Rant
bad
away,
idea.
folks.
Yes,
rant away.
Bring it on." Scott does agree. He thinks that the headphone makers will kind of fall in line. Akash thinks that Apple is just going to brainwash us all, and we're all going to fall in line, as you said.
Well, it's important to note, again, I mean, we're talking about Apple a lot, but the subject of this discussion is Intel, and now it's coming from the other side. The USB Type-C ports are going to be showing up on more phones, and theoretically, a lot of these handset makers are going to follow Apple's pattern, dump the audio jack, and just rely on the USB Type-C port, because it does, for design-wise, it definitely opens the door for a lot of different designs, thinner designs for these devices.
I am just kind of curious if there is a fidelity jump with the USB-C. I'm very interested personally to see how it behaves. I can't imagine there being much of a discernible change.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. This is all kind of theoretical right now, but
I do wonder, however, if USB-C will make easier, more seamless integration with maybe home systems. Like maybe that could make it an easy way to take your, like you could transport 5.1 sound on your iPhone or whatever like that and tap that right into a home digital theater system.
Possibly.
There's a thought.
Yeah.
Maybe a benefit. Trying to find the silver lining in the death of an old friend.
You're doing a good job.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Apple might be losing some customers on this one.
I'm highly skeptical. If anything, I think they'll lose customers, or not lose customers, but demand might be weaker just because the iPhone 7 isn't going to be as different as everyone thinks it will, or it's not going to be as different as years past. But I think the audio jack is sort of a negligible factor here.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a lag between people. And then I think they will finally do it probably. But if they have good headphones for a while, they're going to say, I'm just going to keep these. And then the next time they upgrade headphones, then maybe they'll move in that direction.
Yeah.
It'll be kind of interesting to see how it plays out with the user base and those who, if somebody was a true old school audiophile, analog audio, whatever like that, have they ever gone to iPhone in the first place? Is this even a concern for them? If they've gone to iPhone, are they true audiophile? That kind of thing, because there's an interesting thought to kind of mull over.
Now we're just going down a rabbit hole.
We really are. But that's it, though. Like it's a question of convenience versus quality, and are these people actually interested? Have they ever been?
Right.
Or are we trying to preach to a completely moot choir here?
I don't know. I'm sure there's overlap. There's overlap of people who are just going to be annoyed for various reasons with the elimination of that audio jack.
What do you guys speculate? Do you think Tim Cook has Apple on the right path, or is this a frivolous decision? Completely personal, completely biased.
Sure. Can't you? I mean, you've covered Apple for a long time.
Gosh, I mean, whether this is, he has the company as a whole on the right path, that's hard for me to answer.
Right.
But, I think that this doesn't surprise me that Apple might do this, is because they're always sort of saying we're going to do something, they're always kind of creating their own path in that sense.
Yeah.
And I think it fits within them to say, well, we're just going to do away with this 3.5 millimeter jack that everybody's used for years. We're going to do our own thing, and they'll market it. So it's better quality. It saves the battery. It saves this, and I think they'll win a lot of fans because they have people that are their core fan base. I think is very much into that. Like Apple does things a different way, so we're going to do this. So I think it fits within them. Like it fits their path. I mean, I don't. But as far as Tim Cook as a company as a whole,
well, I will say I won't say whether or not this takes the company in the right direction, but from a financial perspective. Dropping the audio jack and just going Lightning does give Apple a financial boost because they license out the technology for Lightning. You have to pay to use it to be an authorized Lightning accessory. And so, they get a little bit of extra change from that. So financially speaking, it's probably a good move.
Yeah.
No one here cares about.
No. What's the next thing that they will remove to try and make it more thin? And like, what do we? There's nothing left.
No, it's
the
obvious.
display. No, I'm just kidding.
The glass.
No, the home button.
That's actually next.
That's what they're gonna remove. And
but that won't have any effect on its thickness, or
no, but it'll have effect on its size.
Yeah,
they could make a bigger screen.
It's got a huge chin right now, right? It's got that Jay Leno chin. It's not cool.
Maybe they could put in a bigger battery. Yeah. I think you're right though. It is going to be the home.
I think it's once they get the fingerprint stuff to work on the screen, I think they can just dump the home key.
And that would leave the volume rocker and the on and off button, and that's it.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting perspective. Remember when Apple were the first to get rid of the floppy disk, and they were right about that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
God, look at how far we've come now. And now we're all up in arms about a tiny little hole in the side of the phone.
Well, I mean, like the MacBook was the first to embrace USB Type-C and nothing else. And
I mean, they were the first ones to ditch the optical drive altogether.
There you go,
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's
Streamlined.
happened before. It's happened before. It's going to happen again.
They've taken something that's like, you no longer need this thing that you've used for years.
Oh, what about the side buttons?
I think those will probably have to stick around, right?
Think it could get into some kind of like touch-sensitive, gesture-y type control?
I mean, I suppose they could. I mean, the nice thing about the physical volume rocker is that you don't have to be looking at the phone.
Yeah.
Is so if it's just on your desk and it's too loud, or if you just need to adjust the volume, maybe the power button could be replaced by something on the screen. You never know.
It's true. Yeah.
Because that's the only thing that you actually.
But what if you just took the side of the phone and like it's just the left side and you just go like this? And just kind of like brush
just
it.
Start shaving it off.
Yeah, like that's how you control volume going forward.
You know what? That could be a thing.
Yeah, actually, you could just slide your finger up and down like just a strip or something, and
it
could work.
Yeah.
I mean, they're putting what's the speculation about the touch at the top of the new MacBook?
Oh, the LED or the LED LCD screen was a strip that changes depending on the context of the program you're running.
Similar vein there.
Yeah, it could. Although that would add a huge amount of cost. If it's a side strip thing, because it would also.
We just said we're just going to buy it anyway.
It's not the cost. Well, not just the cost, but the structural integrity. I don't know if you'd be able to like replace the aluminum frame with a small strip of glass and have it work or have it be durable? I don't know. Now we're just really getting in a rabbit hole.
Will they put power button on the Apple logo on the back? There you go. Touch Apple for life.
All right,
That's a good place to stop.
We should definitely wrap things up. Yeah. All right, look, if you liked anything you saw or heard here, check us out on CNET. Our podcast is also available on iTunes, Google Play Music, Feedburner, SoundCloud, and TuneIn. I will be out tomorrow. Someone else will be here hosting. We're not sure who yet.
We'll figure it out.
But we will see you. Ben and I will be back on Monday, and then on Tuesday, our big 100th episode. You definitely don't want to miss it. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be weird.
Congratulations in advance.
Thank you.
That's a good milestone.
It is a good milestone. And then we'll quit. We're done. We're done. So, no. We'll be back again. We'll be back on Monday. And then Tuesday, definitely check us out. So we've got a cool surprise.
Thanks as always for joining us. Always appreciate having you along for your morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world.
All right.
Great. Thanks, everyone.
Thank y'all.